Before we get started, please take the time to like, add, and subscribe to our pages on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, and iTunes. Also, please leave us a review. We can wander our way over, because this is Wandering Ways.
What's Bigfoot possibility? What was that? That was an absolute cluster hell of chords.
That's like 3 sets of headphones and my charger, and then the portable.
That gave me anxiety, and I'm like 2 states away.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a project. Well, it's all those. I still haven't gone through like my electronics, as you can see from Africa. I'm still behind in that sense. Like I just kind of left them stuffed in the pocket. And then right now, like I'm going to Great Falls tomorrow early in the morning. And I'm like,
Why?
I gotta go film this lady at
Oh,
the cultural center for she's going. I don't know. I honestly have no idea what she's talking about. I'm supposed to be getting an email from my grandpa here soon, but he said he was working on it, and you're just like, okay, here we go. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I'm going to Great Falls tomorrow. I want to film her. I do it because it helps him out, and I don't mind the pay. And it's cool. Like I'm just having conversations with these people, asking them like, oh, hey, what do you do? Like, yeah, yada yada. I'm just
Yeah.
recording. So it's kind of cool. So I
So
have
for
that.
work.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So it'll be fun, and we'll do that. And yeah, so I'm just all over the place, man. And so I'm cleaning my cords, and I have every plane, every long distance plane gives you a fucking set of headphones. They don't care. They hand them out like candy. You're on those like 30-minute
Yeah.
flight, hour flights. They're like, they're stingy about that shit. But then like these 10-hour flights are like, here, you want 2 pairs? Go for it.
Did you take a pair every flight?
Most flights they just had them like on the
Oh,
seat. And yeah, like I save that stuff. Like I got some souvenirs, some airline souvenirs, as you say.
oh, that's right. I forget you're a hoarder.
I'm not a hoarder, but
Yeah,
borderline.
you're kind of a hoarder.
In a weird way, in certain items. Like I'm gonna get rid of them. It's kind of one of those like I'm gonna hold
No,
on.
you're that classic, was it the classic dad where it's like, I'm gonna need and use this piece of wood later, so I'm gonna keep it. And then you
Hey,
never use the piece of wood.
okay, so you're not wrong. And I have those pieces of wood behind my house right now. And I'm going to build a structure with those pieces of wood to hold those pieces of wood. And then, but the other one, like, so
You're
like,
creating the problem.
exactly. So I have, well, what's actually real nice about that, if you want to talk about the wood, is, uh, Thea's sister's husband, he has his job, like they're building this whole brand new building, and it's huge. And like they just like the company that's doing it like will use like 2x4s to like fence off an area or like do concrete, and like they really don't get that dirty, and they just scrap them, just throw them away. It got
The
its one.
wood.
Yeah, like the good, like long, like 18-foot 2x4s, like good stuff.
You know, sadly, I bet you that's not that uncommon.
No, I don't think so either. And especially with like new construction in that sense,
Yeah,
because like it did get concrete on it, and like I just sanded it off. Like it didn't take much.
yeah.
It was dope. So but I used it for like what I was building in the garage and stuff.
How funny was it that first day when we were in Uganda and we went over to I think it was like Yolo's mom, wherever they were staying, and they were talking about how they thought it was absolutely wild that homes were built out of wood. But
Right.
what do you do for termites?
Like we don't. I mean, they kind of have like there are termites in like the Southwest, I think, right?
Yeah, most of the US is way too cold.
but I don't think they're like the same even.
No, no, no. I mean, there's different issues with wood when you get farther north. You get rot.
Right.
So,
Well,
but
and like
like,
if you think about it, like drywall and siding, some siding is wood, but like they have that vinyl layer, they have a layer over it,
mhm.
plastic or some stuff. So it is protected. It's not just
Yeah, but
bare ass
it's
wood.
still like, yeah, yeah, no, you're definitely right there. But like, that can only do so much for so
Right.
long, you know?
But you do have like the wooden barns and the wooden like structures that still like the ones that you see, especially here in Montana, that have like dilapidated. Yeah, but like it's like they're still there, even though they're
Yeah, I mean,
dilapidated.
we have those too.
But you also do have like the like nice kept stuff, like the wooden bridges even that you guys have out there. Like
Yeah, kind of. I mean, they're not all wood.
no, but like taken care, like think of like some of those wood churches or those wood
I
like
mean,
the
wood survives. Like, don't get me
yeah,
wrong. It's, it's a different challenge from like Africa where it's warmer and you
right,
have those bugs. Where
right,
up
and
here you don't have the bugs. But it's a different challenge.
right. That's true. No, I was crazy. Yeah, they just blew their mind though.
Yeah. It's like can't have steel or like
I
a lot of metal on the coast because it
right.
rusts.
No, that's true. Makes
But
sense. That's how they do it.
yeah. But no, 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 no. We're here to not jibber jabber about random things like wood and steel. No, we're here to answer questions. Questions coming from the Wanderers, yes, indeedy. You want to go first?
Sure.
All right.
Where did I put the questions? I started writing them down and then I actually just took screenshots on my phone. It was a lot easier. So I was like, sometimes I do that, it's like sometimes there is a digital solve, but I am a very like
I'm
handwrite.
very much write it down kind of person, but
Yeah.
in this case, I get it because it's like, let's get the question and then boom, move on to the next.
Right, right. No, it's just yeah, exactly. But this one comes from good old Kelly. Looking at Yellowstone, Grand Tetons and Glacier for 10 to 14 days. Damn, that sounds like a nice trip. We'll be
Yeah.
traveling with our children ranging from 16 to 10 years old. What are the do's and don'ts and must-sees? Would love for unique excursion ideas. Probably next August for travel time. Go ahead.
August, it's going to be hot. It's going to be hot, especially in Yellowstone and Grand Tetons.
Right.
Um, Glacier might be all right, but
Right. I mean,
Yellowstone, Tetons will be hot.
I'd give it like 6 days in each.
That's too many days. 10 to 14, yeah.
That's what they said. So that's 12 days, 6 and 6.
Oh, but including Glacier.
I no, so I sorry, but I would group Tetons and Yellowstone together for 6. Sorry.
Whoa,
I
whoa, whoa,
I
whoa,
miss.
whoa,
My
whoa,
bad.
whoa.
I was
Okay,
doing the
okay,
two. Yeah, my bad. Yeah. That's on me. I take
okay.
the fault.
No, I mean, if you could spend 6 days in all three of those parks, that's kind of a banger. But
Right.
right. Yeah, I had a similar thought. I had similar thoughts. I was gonna go 7 and 5 or seven, like more on the Grand Teton Yellowstone, and then less just because you have so much more ground to cover.
Right.
Although Glacier does need some time to really explore it, so it was a tough little to split the time between the two or three.
Right. Oh, and if you're hiking, and even I guess you do get the people that stay in Kalispell or stay like close in like cabins and stuff. You're able to like I'm trying like I'm trying to think, like, depends on how you're staying at MC. She says unique excursion ideas. Like, you're probably staying nearby West Yellowstone or in those areas. So I would say like your unique excursion ideas are going to be like the rafting. So like kind of like
Hmm.
the bachelor party, when you guys came on over, and it's like we spent a day where we went rafting and then we went out to eat, and you do like those kind of things. So that's like a full day if you're doing that kind of stuff. Then you have some days to do the hikes. You can do the more notable hikes in Glacier, like the Going to Sun hike, or if you do like make sure you get the permit and schedule the Going to Sun road, or get up real early or later in the evening, because it's still evening, 7 to 8 o'clock at night in August, and
Hmm.
still get a good view if the road's open. Um,
Yeah. No, for sure. And then like for like Glacier, if you're looking excursion, I don't know if it's really an excursion, but like if you're doing the like paddle boarding things, I think Glacier would be the well, Grand Tetons might be a cool one to do it
right.
at. But like Lake McDonald there, that's a pretty sweet. Maybe Grand Teton's the better one because there's a better view.
I mean, honestly, both of them. Uh,
100%. You could totally do both.
and they both have the rental opportunities at them.
Hmm.
So if that's one thing you're looking for, is that kind of getting on the lake experience, Glacier
Well,
and T.
that's what I was thinking, the excursions, because that's looking for that. I mean, the tour buses, the Red Jammer.
Right.
Um, so
Yellowstone, though, I would do, you're giving yourself the full days. I mean, if you get a full day to just do some loops and hit some of the stops and the trails, and the things you want to see, I think that's kind of worth it. The visitor centers are really good in Yellowstone. Um, Top notch.
yeah, and if you just find a spot in Yellowstone to just chill for a while, that could be a whole excursion,
Yeah.
especially if it's like Lamar Valley.
Right. No, and honestly, that's one I want to get into more and more. Ever I say that, right? Like I do, but get off the beaten path in the Lamar, like you're saying, and find those hidden gems. Because really, you get on the trails, and in Yellowstone, it changes. They say.
Oh, I'm 100% sure, 100% sure of that one. But yeah, what? Yeah, giving yourself at least 14 days, I think, for these two. Because you are gonna have a travel day
Right.
or two, depending on what your flight. Well, what did they say? RV? Were they doing an RV or no, or is that someone else?
Didn't specify. Didn't
Oh,
specify.
though then it depends, your flight, all that, um, comparatively. So
Yeah, and
if
if
you
you're
have to fly in and out of Bozeman or Missoula, that could change your time too.
or if you're dry, yeah, if you're RVing the whole way, what's the days you're
Yeah.
hitting in and out? How far are you going?
Hmm.
Are you cutting it on the ends? But all the parks offer great things. I mean, they all have the hikes, but there's even the stuff around. I mean, there's the tourist items that you can find and do.
For sure. Uh, my next one. This is kind of just a simple one. It was a question that I think many people get when it comes to that time, but here's the question that comes from Shelley. My annual pass is punched to expire in May. Does that mean I can still use it in May, or do I need to get a new one in May?
Both. No, it's valid that month.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is
it's one
valid.
of those. I think many people have it. That question, get the clarification out there. You can
No.
totally use it.
Yep. And then it's the next you get it, like, so if it's May, then you have to get one in June.
Yep.
But sometimes you just buy it in May because you're gonna use it next year.
Yeah, if it's like May 25th, maybe.
Yeah, right. It depends on, yeah, exactly. It depends
Yeah.
on where your budget is, where you're at, right? But
Hmm.
I really do like that about the parks. Tribal IDs also get you in pretty free in the most. He's kind of the advocate for us in that way. I don't mind shelling out the $80 a year as kind of like that donation in a sense. But Yeah, our travel IDs get us into parks. I mean, we do it when we go into Yellowstone all the time just because it's easy. We don't want
Yeah.
to, but some of the East Coast parks are like, well, you're not a tribal member over here, and you're like, whatever. Like, I'm not. I don't want to fight it.
Yeah, yeah, fair, fair. Yeah, I mean, I ask how many times I'm going to go to a park. And if I think, which most of the time I do, I get the pass.
Well, yeah. I mean, and when you get the pass too, you're more inclined to say, all right, I'm going to. I didn't get one last year.
No?
No, because I just used the tribal ID because I was going to local parks, and
Oh,
we went to um, we went to Iceland and Africa. So
that's fair. That's
like
fair.
we haven't really gone. Like that's the thing is we haven't really gone to any national parks. So I was like looking at some national parks, and you're just like, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling a Teddy Roosevelt. Maybe we could do a review or a breakdown or something. I'll get over there.
Yeah. I'm actually I'm I'm nervous and excited because I'm going to the Redwoods this weekend.
Yeah.
So that's the exciting part. The nervous part is I'm going there to run a marathon. So
How you gonna
um
do?
not good.
Oh,
Um
okay.
no, 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 no. It will be interesting. I'm interested to see how it goes. I think I will beat my time from the Missoula Marathon. But I don't think I'll have a very good time.
Hey man, progress is progress.
Yeah. Well, did I tell you how this came up, or did I mention it last time?
You may have, but go ahead and let the listeners hear
Because I
firsthand.
wanted to run this, but it was filled, so I had to put myself on the wait list.
Oh, okay,
And
yeah.
so I forgot that I even put my name on the wait list. And then like 2 weeks ago, I got an email saying like, "Hey, if you still want to run it, you can run it." And so I was like, "Oh shit. Well, why not? Let's fuck it." And so I've really cranked things up in the last 3 weeks, and where I was just like, "We'll see what we can do."
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah.
You excited?
Yeah, I'm excited but nervous, which
Yeah.
is what you should be when you're going into something because it's a marathon.
Not a sprint. Remember that.
No, not a sprint. Although some people they sure run like they sprint.
No, I know. I was just kidding because the saying where it's like it's not a sprint, it's a marathon.
Yeah.
Like how people do that.
Yeah. Have you
It's,
ever well, this is probably just something I see, but like, when it comes to marathons, everyone talks about the 2 hour marathon. But this one guy was saying like the thing that might be more impressive is the person that runs a 5 hour marathon because they've been doing a thing for 5 hours. Like, yeah, the 2 hour or trying to get it, like that's tough to do, but it's only 2 hours of hard work. Whereas like someone's doing something for 5 hours.
I mean, yeah, no, I get that because it is like the long you're in the element longer
Oh
and
yeah.
those muscles, yeah, like the muscle groups and how they're working, but it's different too because like the I guess it would be like the torque or
Yeah.
on the quicker runner is also amplified compared to
Well, I
ours,
think
right?
if I'm really honest, I think the shorter, quicker one is more physical, whereas that longer, slower is way more of a mental battle.
Oh, probably.
That's where I really think the two come down. Like the differences in hard, but they're still equally as hard. Like I don't want to diminish either or, but um, it's just funny to think of it that way.
Well, okay, I feel you. I mean, good luck. All the best.
We'll see. We'll see what we see. You want a glacier question?
Or do you want the Crater Lake hike? Sally wants to know the best hike in Crater real quick. I don't know. I've never been.
Oh, okay. No, we can do Sally's.
I mean, it's gonna be quick.
Let's bust it out real quick.
Best hike. Go. I just asked.
Best hike in Crater Lake.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think. Well, I think it kind of depends on what you're looking for. Um, There's only one hike that takes you to the water. So that's probably one I'd say is the best, just to get down to the water itself. There's one that take I forget the name of it, but there's like a lookout. You can hike up to like one of the old fire,
Oh,
wildland fire, like lookouts. And then
no,
there's the mountain there. I think it's like Mount Scott, which is the highest point in the park, which is like a 3 mile round trip.
oh, nice.
Get you at the north, no, the east end of it, so you get a different angle than what probably you see pictures ever of.
Oh, well,
Um, so those would probably be the three best hikes, just because you get the water and then the views.
there you go. Easy. Knocked it out. Um, Remember when we were going to hike to that tower in Glacier that time
Oh yeah,
in the rain?
yeah, that was a wet day. That was a
That
very
was
wet day.
terrible.
What did we do before that though?
We fucking hopped around looking for a hike. Remember? We drove to Medicine and then it was COVID. Remember,
Yeah, yeah,
we told Matt and Bobby. Matt and Bobby really wanted to go to the native side, to the
yeah,
Blackfeet side. And so when we got, remember, we started driving down that road and that ranger told us to turn around. The native guy said
yeah.
that it's closed
I
because of
was
COVID.
just I felt like we did something else that day too, but that might have been it.
I mean, we slept. That was the day we slept in the KOA. Because did we do, I don't think we did the Avalanche Lake hike with them, right?
Yeah, but I don't think it was the same day because I
That was
remember Avalanche Lake being very sunny.
that was the day before, and then we slept that night at the KOA, and the rain poured on us. Remember, I was sleeping
Yes.
in a hammock and I got just dumped on.
Oh, and the thunder and lightning.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we that was also when the earthquake was, I think, around then.
Might have been.
One of those times we were up there, there was an earthquake in Lincoln, which is not too far away. Um, the I'm trying to think. Yeah, because then no, I mean we like stopped there. We had lunch, and then we drove that road. We got kicked out, not kicked out. There's like
Yeah.
around, and then we did that hike to that lookout tower, and then we got up to the lookout tower or about halfway or whatever, and we're like, okay, we're going to either lose daylight the
Or be miserable.
or yeah, it was I people were not it was not a good mood. And then
It was very wet, very, very wet.
we drove back to Sealy that night, and then we drove Bozeman or Missoula,
Yeah.
and then because that was that whole thing, and then Bobby dipped out. That was the last time I ever saw Bobby. Only time I've ever seen Bobby.
That might have been the last time I saw him too.
Yeah, he has a kid now, Matt said, or a kid on the way.
I'm not surprised.
No, I'm not either, but we'll see. I mean, Matt's brother's also having a kid, Tim, so or had a kid. Tim had a
Yeah,
baby.
yeah.
Matt's an uncle. Everybody.
I knew that. I knew that.
He's
The
the
normal
uncle.
one had a kid.
The uncle is not gonna be. He's gonna be the yeah. That's Matt.
You just gotta get the kid to always call Matt Matt Buddy instead of
Oh, we
Uncle
will.
Matt.
Oh,
Just
we
Matt
will.
Buddy.
Oh, we will. Oh, we will. Everybody calls him Matt, buddy.
That'd be too funny.
Wild man. He's a character. I should give him a call. See how his weekend went after this
Uh,
to delay my work even more.
Give him a. Are you trying to work today?
Oh, just doing that drywall. Just
Oh, oh, oh,
delay the process.
fair,
It's
fair, fair.
getting late and I gotta do that. And then I gotta wake up 7 a.m., go Great Falls. We've been over this.
I didn't know you were gonna do the drywall tonight. I knew
Oh,
you were drywalling.
I got my knee
I
pads
didn't
on.
know. Look at it. He's ready to go.
Save my knees, man.
Oh, I'm sure it helps out a lot. I'm sure it
Oh,
helps
dude,
out a lot.
I hate kneeling on my knees. Like I already like I hate it. So I'm like, nah, I
Hmm.
get knee pads. So the Wild West is full of dangers, from snakes to bears. The outdoorsman must be prepared. That is why when you experience rivers like the San Juan or the Yellowstone, you must bring a blue ribbon net. Handcrafted and biodegradable, these classic wooden fishing nets are all you need while on the river. Make sure to use code RUGAROO10 when checking out at Blue Ribbon Nets. Again, the code is RUGAROO10. RUGARU10.
Cool shit in nature. Yeah, I know. No, no, no. I got two as per. Um, one's a picture and one is a video.
Okay, I'm ready.
I think I've shown a picture like this before, if I'm being totally honest.
Okay.
But
Oh, that's dope though.
it's a very cool picture, I will admit. So for people who are just listening, it's a volcano with a nice lightning storm. So you get the whole fire and lightning effect.
It's almost like that fire and ice because like the lightning is that
Yeah.
blue. But I like it. It's dope.
Yeah, I was like, I almost did. There was another cool picture I almost picked today. And it was like, it was the Aurora Borealis
Ooh.
over the volcano eruption. So you had
Oh,
the volcano eruption and then the Aurora Borealis right
that's
above
dope.
it.
This one looks like Mount Rang, Indonesia.
I think it is in Indonesia, if if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Going to the uh
Video.
clip here. Um, this is a good old fashioned grizzly bear wolf standoff. Um, in Yellowstone, of all places.
Right? It makes me be like, oh man, how come we're not there on those days? Like,
Can't be there for all of them.
I wish this would be cool. But I think
Yeah,
he's protecting his kill or whatever. Because that's why all those birds.
I think so too. I mean, it's still technically a standoff.
Yeah. Oh, it's dope though.
Yeah.
They look I just when you watch wolves, man, and just how like they act like dogs. And it's like, well, they are dogs. Like
I'm glad you came to that conclusion.
well, just that like how like they jump like that. Like it's just very that like playful like
Yeah.
it's like you see your dog do it. You're like,
Yeah. No, I know what you mean because in that
right.
video they do definitely. The one
Yeah.
wolf does that little like that where the dogs are like about to go on zoomies or whatever.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
About to chase down
They're
their
uh they're gonna bring back the Bears, Grizzly Bears to North Cascades. I think it's an interesting move.
Are you about it?
So
Are you about it? I'm about it.
yeah, I'm always about it. You know, I think it will even out. Well, I'm not always about it. You know, depending on the response of the ecosystem,
Right.
just this in this case, I think it will be a positive impact on the ecosystem. So that is why I'm about it.
No, I think it's good. I think it's a good apex predator to return to its natural habitat. Uh,
Hmm.
like the wolves down in Colorado. Like, did you hear how like did you hear how like that happened? Like how they got the wolves?
They're like wolves from Oregon.
Yeah, but like the wolves in or wasn't it the wolves in Oregon like just reintroduced themselves completely? Or
That I think it happened. They came from somewhere else. They just
naturally.
moved in there. Yeah.
And then that's how like were able to displace them over there. It was weird, like not loot.
No, the reason why they went to Oregon is because uh Colorado's a blue state and the other states that have wolves are red states.
Oh,
Yeah, I remember reading an article about it. It was like it's just like petty politics.
bro, the wolves used to be like out in Nebraska, Oklahoma, out on the plains.
Yeah, but you can't have my wolves.
That's true, dude. I mean,
That's what they're saying. They're saying like, no,
oh
you're
yeah,
right. You need to have wolves there. You just can't have my wolves.
oh yeah, no. And our governor trapped one in a trap and then shot it.
Oh,
Or
nice.
yeah, yeah. No, yeah, no, they don't get it. And they don't get what the wolves have done to the ecosystems. How they've
No, they don't at
come
all.
back. They brought them back.
And things start to balance themselves out.
Weird. Weird how Mother Nature does that.
It is, it is. Well, moving back to question. Uh this one, uh this one I have, and it reminded me of our first time to Glacier.
Oh,
Um, so am I allowed to wait outside a permit office from like 3 a.m. to make sure I'm first in line to get a walk-up permit for backcountry in Glacier National Park?
I'd say yeah, right? I don't know. You're the one who did it.
Yeah, that's why it made me giggle when I saw it. I was like, because you didn't do the, you didn't go to the actual, you can't. Um, I think the rule is you just can't camp out front of it.
Yeah, you just show up, right? And just
Yeah,
have your
as long
coffee
as
and
you.
be ready.
Well, I was like, when I did it, I was like 10th or 12th in line. Like I was not near the front.
No, you were like 6 a.m., right?
I was at 6 or a little bit before. I can't remember. It doesn't open until like 6 or something because
Right,
that's why I went at that time.
right. Which wasn't bad. We just didn't get our first choice.
No, well, the thing is, it's tough to get your first choice for it because not only is it that permit office, it's all of them. So yeah, you aren't first in line to that permit office, but also you're also in a line with all the other permit offices.
Well, and isn't it also based on if some of them are like, oh, there's people already on that trail for 2 days?
Well, that has to go into it too. So,
Right.
there's a lot that goes into play for. That's why if you go backcountry and you didn't get it in the lottery system, they have two, three choices.
Right. Because you didn't even have a second choice, and we're just like, yeah, whatever. And like that's how Quartz Lake happened, man.
I thought we had court talked about it.
I mean, we probably talked about it, but I thought the guy recommended it to you.
I
Like, do
thought we
this.
had talked about it. I thought it
Yeah.
was like third or fourth choice for us.
I don't. You were there.
It was a little, well, I mean, you helped pick out the top choices.
I mean, yeah, I going into it, but like I think at that, like after two, three, it's just kind of like, okay, here's some ideas.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So, but yeah,
definitely
no,
like
I think you can. You just can't camp.
right, right. I got one here. They're heading to Zion on Thursday. I've seen the first and last shuttles of the day are sometimes an hour wait. Are there generally wait times midday for the shuttle from the visitor center from Zion? And I
I'm gonna
saw,
assume so because Zion's always packed.
yeah, but I don't think they're as busy during the day as they are during those peak times, like maybe around lunch or certain things like that. Because from my understanding, it was a lot of the hikers in the morning when you and I took it that time. They're going on those bigger hikes. So like that's
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
pushing the
No,
line.
that's I think that's true. I think you're probably more packed.
And then the end of the
But
day, because everyone's like, oh shit.
yeah.
Because it's not
I
end of
mean,
the
the heat of
day.
the day, probably not. But I don't know. I mean, the park,
Is
parks have
hard,
grown a lot in popularity. So a lot of these parks, like when we did them,
right?
who knows what they're, I mean, there's reservation systems now. So, I'm not 100% sure anymore.
Right. No, that's fair to say. But my guess would be the peak hours are yeah, your opening and ending because like you do see like the ending time is like 5, 6 o'clock because that's when the government shuts down. That's when the park rangers are done for the day, the services are done for the day. Whereas the sun don't set till 9, 10 o'clock sometimes, whatever it may be. And you want to stay out in the park. And I think people get kind of locked or trapped into like areas, especially where like it is shuttle only. So it is like, nope, this is the last one of the day. Oh shit, we got to make it.
Yeah.
I think that happens. But you're right. Like with the popularity of parks, so I would take into consideration the weekday, weekend, when you're there, what's going on. Like is it Memorial Day, Labor Day? Those are gonna be peak days, holiday weekends where people have time off work. It's gonna do it.
100. That will make big difference.
Right.
Time of year too. Uh, but next question. Um, okay, Badlands slash Wind Cave versus Theodore Roosevelt in late May. He's been traveling to Billings, Montana for work monthly, and his last trip is in late May. I'm adding a few extra days on my trip at the end so I can go to at least one park. Which one? Badlands, Wind Cave, Theodore Roosevelt Park.
Someone's in Billings, huh?
Well, they're working in Billings.
Interesting. Um, I would I would say probably the Badland. What was the Badlands, Theodore?
He had Badlands and Wind Cave grouped.
Grouped. Yeah, yeah, I'd do that. Because not only that, you're more likely to fit in Mount Rushmore and maybe Crazy Horse. Jewel Cave's also in the area. Custer State Park's in the area. Where if you're doing Teddy Roosevelt, you're just probably doing Teddy Roosevelt. There's Medora. It's a cute little touristy town, but that comes
Yeah.
with territory. That's Wall Drug in the Badlands, and I think it's they're the same. Badlands it's bad. They used to call Teddy Roosevelt Badlands National Park. Like my grandma still calls it Badlands National Park, and you're just like whatever, because that she grew up in North Dakota. That's what they called it.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Um, but it's just it's their version of it. So you're going to get the same thing. You're going to get more in South Dakota.
There you go. That's a pretty good answer.
Yeah, I like it.
I
I
mean,
want.
Wind Cave is dope.
Yeah, I had a good time. We did the tour.
Yeah, yeah. Wind Cave is really dope. Uh, yeah,
Well,
had to do the tour.
Here, my kind of final question actually was along the lines of Badlands, Minuteman, and Jewel Cave near the end of May. Um, they're looking for campsites. Any suggestions?
For campsites, I mean, if you can get into the park, it's always nice to get into the park.
We
Um,
did.
for Badlands, yeah, we did.
You know the movie that I told you about that you're like, I watched No Man Land,
Oh,
the
yes.
life one, when she's staying in the Badlands?
Mm-hmm.
That's our campsite.
Oh, is it?
There's only the one campground there in that area, like right there.
Oh,
Same,
yeah.
it's the same campground.
That was a nice campground.
Oh yeah, and you
That
even
was
got
a
the heat up.
nice evening.
Oh, it was beautiful. Nice May,
Yeah.
late May, early
Well,
June.
it's clear sky. So
Oh,
we just like watched the stars for a while.
that was a wild trip because like you started off in the great like that first night, like you had ice
Mhm.
form. I slept in the car. I said, "Fuck
Oh,
that."
God.
You
Yeah, that
go
was
to
wild.
you go to Page. Page was warm. Bryce Canyon was kind of like moderate. It
Mm,
was warm, but that you started to get the cold. Arches sucked because of the like
the
campsite.
kids.
The kids, yeah, they just talked all night.
Yeah.
Um, but it was warm. Then
Hmm.
we had a hotel, which was nice, and the weather there was like perfect. And then we had Mike Drake, and then we had Lingle, which was another like warm kind of whatever. Um, from Lingle, then we went to these
And
places,
it was
which
Badlands.
fucking nice. Badlands, yeah. And then
KOA out front of Devil's Tower.
beautiful, which Devil's Tower is also on that drive. Hit it. It's on the way
Yeah,
from, it's worth the
it's a
stop.
great KOA.
Great KOA. And then
Um,
yeah, we went
then
to
we stayed at your place,
and then we rolled into
Yellowstone, and stayed
it
at the
snowed,
hotel.
but it snowed.
Yeah, the road that we came, the Beartooth closed the next day.
Wild,
Yeah,
wild.
that was wild. That was very, the ice in the Grand Canyon was wild because, like, I knew it was going to be cold. And then when I got up and I was packing like the tarp thing,
Right?
like in, and it was like ice crunching, I was like, oh, fuck. I was like, I don't know how I stayed warm.
I really don't, because that was before you had all your like thermal stuff or whatever for your hammock. I was
Well,
that,
no, I had the, um, I had pretty much the same hook setup I have now because I had the tarp over and then it's the sleeping mat, sleeping bag. What I bet I did is I added another blanket.
hmm, probably.
So,
Yeah, it
but
was wild.
still, it was cold as hell.
Well, because we thought the campsite was also a lot closer.
That too. Well, it was one of the more closer ones,
Oh, it
not
was.
associated with the park.
And it was a track though, still.
It was.
I mean, it was like 30 miles, I think, or something like that. But
Mhm.
it was worth it. But we wanted to do the sunset. And we got to that campground and it was like, oh, fuck. Because then we came back
Yeah,
to the Grand Canyon the next morning. That was a fun trip.
it was. It was a good
Fun
one.
trip. But yeah, so same kind of question. They're asking about, oh, yeah, they camping.
Yeah, for campsites in that
I
area.
mean,
Um,
we're,
I mean, in the park's great.
yeah, there's a lot.
KOAs are
There's a
great.
lot in that area.
Yeah.
Even,
Yeah,
even if
there's
you're
a
going to stay in
ton.
Rapid City, they got the hotels, you know, you have the state parks.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
I'd
yeah, yeah.
I'm interested. I'm surprised Montana and like South Dakota and some of these more western states, even Washington, Oregon, don't have like the campground type van RV type stuff that like Iceland had like that.
What do you mean?
I'm surprised we don't have more of that.
Like more campsites?
Like, yeah, but the more in the sense that it's just like pull in.
Oh, whoa,
I guess
whoa,
those are
whoa.
like truck stops, right? Or Walmarts.
Yeah,
But
yeah. The where it's just fit it and it work and that's your campsite.
yeah, versus like you go to these campgrounds, campsites, like even Lingle, right? You have your plot of land,
Hmm.
your little square, versus like saying like, nah, like here's a big thing you everyone plugs into, or this. Like it's not
Yeah.
as communal.
Yeah, and I bet that has to do with country differences.
Oh, 100%. But I'm
So,
surprised that like I feel like there'd be a need for it. I feel like more people would be open to like, oh yeah, it's only $10 to just pull in here.
yeah, I feel like there would be more of that like nomadic kind of campground that would work, like
Right.
that kind of setup. I don't there's your next business venture right there. Is buy a piece of property with decent amount of land and run it like that. And be like if be like, listen, this is it. This is just kind of a nomad pull up, go, pay out type deal.
Paradise Valley, here we come.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know where it would probably work around national parks really well.
Oh yeah. Parks out west.
Yeah.
Because like around there, around like Olympic, around North Cascades, around Crater, around Redwoods, you need
Yeah.
that like
It'd be a
wet.
lot of young people or a lot of hippies.
Not yeah, the old like van lifers.
Yeah, van lifers. But
Because that's who I think it would appeal to.
oh, Henry, I think that those are I think it appealed most to is the van lifers and then the people doing the like quick stops on a road trip type deal.
Right. Like we would.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, anyways, we're at that point. So we'll just move right on into final words. So final words, my guy.
Yeah, guys. No, definitely. If you have questions, email us at wanderingwayspodcast@gmail.com. WANDERINGWAYSPODCAST at gmail.com. It's CAS podcast, not podcast, because
Been a
it's
while
cost.
since he's done it.
It really
He's not
has.
informed.
It really has been. Yeah, it's been a little bit, and then you kind of hear yourself saying it. So you're like, ah, but it's all good. Wanderingwayspodcast@gmail.com. Shoot us an email. We haven't got an email in a while. A lot of spam. Checked it. A lot of spam. It's all right. Shoot us an email, and your question may be read on the next listener's questions. These are good ones. I like the ones that are geared towards the parks that we know. That's always a plus. So if they're up here in the Northwest or out West, it usually helps. But if you have other questions, general questions, yeah, shoot them our way. We appreciate it. It's fun. It keeps us going.
Reverend final words of wisdom. Say beautiful, everybody. Can't tell you how much I appreciate every single one of you for doing the thing, listening, watching, all that fun stuff. ELE, everybody love everybody. We're here in May. It's summer is a coming. Memorial Day is right around the corner, and that's when things really start cranking up. The
Yeah.
sun is shining, the weather's getting nicer. I'm starting to get a tan. This is amazing. Um, but yeah, with that being said, peace out, everybody.
Bye.